When Marvin lost his wife at 69, everyone around him offered the same advice. You're still young enough to find someone new. It sounded comforting, logical even. No one wants to picture their golden years in solitude. So after 2 years, Marvin started dating again. He met someone kind, gentle, and easy to talk to. They shared meals, laughter, long walks. But as time went on, something unexpected happened. The quiet joy Marvin had found in his solitude began to slip away. His routines changed. His sleep suffered. Small disagreements turned into bigger ones. And for the first time in years, he found himself feeling not companionship, but tension when he finally stepped back and chose to be alone again. He said something that stayed with me. I didn't feel alone when I was by myself. I felt alone when I had to lose myself to keep someone else happy. We live in a world that praises love stories and lifelong partnerships. And for many, those connections bring deep meaning. But the truth that doesn't get talked about enough is this. For some people over 65, choosing to stay single is not a sad outcome. It's a wise decision. It's not about giving up on love. It's about choosing peace, choosing rest, choosing yourself. Being single later in life doesn't mean being lonely. It can mean freedom. It can mean stability. It can mean waking up each day with no one to compromise for and no tension pulling at your chest. For many seniors, it is the very thing that allows them to thrive. Today we'll explore 7 powerful reasons why staying single after 65 might not just be better. It might be the best decision you make for your health, your happiness, and your heart. And stay with me through reason number 7. It's the one no one talks about, but it affects more people than you might imagine. Reason 1. Emotional stress from conflict. No matter how compatible two people seem, relationships, especially new ones, come with conflict, misunderstandings, clashing habits, differences in how you see the world. When we're younger, these struggles feel like a normal part of learning and growing. But after 65, the equation changes. Your energy isn't the same. Your tolerance for drama wears thin. And what once felt like a minor disagreement can now echo through your mind and body for days. What many older adults come to realize is that emotional stress affects them more deeply now than ever before. Your nervous system slows down with age. Recovery from stress takes longer. Sleep becomes more fragile. And the emotional toll of repeated arguments, even small ones, can lead to fatigue, anxiety, and even depression. Take Edith, for example. She was 73 when she entered a new relationship after a decade of living alone. At first, it was exciting. She loved having someone to talk to over dinner, someone to walk with in the evenings. But soon disagreements started popping up. He criticized the way she managed her time. She found his constant phone calls overwhelming. What began as affection turned into control, and the stress of defending her boundaries brought back old wounds she thought she had healed. After 6 months, Edith ended the relationship and described the relief as like getting a full night's sleep after years of tossing and turning. This kind of emotional weight is not rare. Many seniors carry past traumas from previous marriages, lost partners, or family conflicts. A new relationship can unexpectedly trigger those old wounds, and while companionship might sound comforting, it should never come at the cost of your inner peace. Staying single means fewer emotional landmines, fewer emotional roller coasters. It means choosing calm over chaos, peace over pressure, and for many, that trade is not only worth it, it's life-saving. Reason 2. Financial complications. Love may be blind, but money always sees clearly, and it rarely looks the other way. In our later years, finances become more than numbers on a page. They represent stability, medical security, legacy for children, and peace of mind. Introducing a partner into the picture often means blending financial lives, and that can quickly turn a peaceful retirement into a stressful balancing act. At age 30 or 40, Financial challenges in a relationship might be manageable. You've got time to earn, recover, and rebuild. But after 65, the stakes are different. Your income is likely fixed. Your assets have been carefully preserved, and the margin for error is much smaller. A new partner may bring financial baggage, credit card debt, different spending habits, or expectations around shared expenses. Even something as seemingly simple as buying groceries together can trigger tension if you're not on the same page. Roger, 68, found this out the hard way. After losing his wife, he reconnected with an old friend from high school. Their bond grew quickly, and within a few months she had moved in. Roger was generous, paying for dinners, small vacations, and new household items. But over time, he noticed that his savings were shrinking faster than expected. His partner had expensive taste and assumed they'd split costs 50-50. Except her contributions never quite materialized. When Roger finally confronted her, she was offended. The tension rose, and what began as comfort turned into quiet resentment. It's not just about spending either. Financial entanglements can affect everything from tax brackets to Social Security benefits. Some seniors risk losing pensions or healthcare coverage if they legally remarry. Others find themselves in difficult conversations about inheritance, especially when adult children are involved. The lines blur quickly, and what was meant to bring joy ends up inviting confusion. Choosing to stay single gives you full control over your financial world. You can spend, save, or give as you choose. You don't have to negotiate every purchase or defend every decision. You worked hard for your independence, and keeping your finances separate might be the very thing that protects your peace. Write a number 2 in the comments to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you never miss a video. Your support means the world to us and helps us keep bringing you valuable and inspiring content. Reason 3, loss of routine and personal space. Over the years, we shape our lives around what works for us. The cup of tea in the morning, the news station we trust, the time of day we like to nap or take a walk. These routines, while small, create a rhythm that grounds us. They give us a sense of control, comfort, and identity, especially as our world changes with age. But when a new partner enters the picture, those routines are often the first things to shift. Louise, 70, had been living alone for over a decade. Her days were slow and intentional. She liked waking up early, sitting in her garden with a journal, then spending afternoons reading or knitting. When she began seeing someone new, she was hopeful. They spent weekends together, then gradually merged their homes. That's when the tension started. He liked to sleep in, play the TV loudly in the morning, and rearrange her kitchen without asking. Suddenly, the peace she had spent years building felt invaded. "I didn't realize how much my little habits mattered," she said, "until they were no longer mine." This kind of disruption isn't always dramatic. It's subtle, but it's felt deeply. You find yourself sharing your space again, your refrigerator, your remote control, your calendar. You negotiate everything from what to eat for dinner to where to keep the laundry basket. And while compromise is part of any relationship, for many seniors, it begins to feel like a loss of freedom. Personal space isn't just about square footage. It's about autonomy, the ability to move through your day without adjusting to someone else's preferences, to spend your time exactly as you please without apology or explanation. When you choose to stay single, you preserve that space. You wake when you want. You eat when you want. You don't have to schedule your life around another person's needs or moods. And for many older adults, that kind of quiet freedom brings more joy than constant companionship ever could. Reason 4, increased caregiving burden. At some point, nearly every senior comes face to face with the reality of declining health, either their own or someone else's. And while the instinct to care for a loved one is natural, it's important to recognize the toll it can take, especially when you're in your later years yourself. Entering a relationship after 65 may seem like a joyful step, but if that partner's health begins to fail, you might suddenly find yourself in the role of caregiver. And caregiving, while meaningful, is no small task. It can be physically draining, emotionally overwhelming, and quietly isolating. What started as a romantic partnership can gradually shift into a full-time responsibility, one that you may not be prepared for or capable of managing. George, 76, met his partner Ruth at a church gathering. They connected quickly and moved in together after just 4 months. But within a year, Ruth's mobility declined. George found himself helping her bathe, managing her medications, cooking all the meals, and cleaning the house alone. He never complained, but inside he felt exhausted. His own blood pressure climbed. His sleep suffered. He stopped attending the community center events he once loved, and the peaceful retirement he'd envisioned slowly disappeared under the weight of constant responsibility. This isn't to say caregiving is wrong or unworthy. For many, it's a labor of love. But when you take it on unexpectedly, when it becomes your daily reality without preparation, it can lead to burnout, especially if your own health is already fragile. Choosing to remain single doesn't mean turning your back on care or compassion. It means acknowledging your limits. It means understanding that your energy is precious and finite, that the older you get, the more your body and mind require care of their own. By staying single, many seniors avoid the emotional toll of watching a partner deteriorate and protect the few years of good health they have left. Independence at this stage of life isn't selfish. It's a form of wisdom. Sometimes protecting your peace means setting boundaries before they're tested, and recognizing that you're allowed to choose ease over effort, quiet over crisis. Write a number 4 in the comments to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you never miss a video. Your support means the world to us and helps us keep bringing you valuable and inspiring content. Reason 5. Family tensions and inheritance issues. Relationships later in life don't just affect the couple involved. They ripple out into the entire family. And when adult children are part of the picture, things can quickly get complicated. A new partner might be seen as a threat, as someone who's taking over emotionally or financially. And this perception, right or wrong, can create rifts that are hard to repair. Many seniors report that the decision to begin dating again, especially after a spouse passes, brings unexpected judgment or coldness from their children. Some worry that a new partner will influence decisions about money, wills, or property. Others fear that the attention they once received from a parent is now being redirected. And while their concerns aren't always valid, the feelings are very real. Martha, 66, met a retired professor at a local book club. They enjoyed quiet afternoons together and shared a love of history and travel. But when Martha mentioned him to her 2 sons, she was met with silence. Over time, that silence grew into suspicion. Her sons began questioning her decisions, her finances, her plans, her health. Eventually, the tension became so great that Martha ended the relationship just to restore peace with her family. I never imagined that finding joy again would cost me the closeness of my own children, she said quietly. Inheritance issues can complicate things even further. If you cohabitate or marry later in life, your assets may legally shift. Your partner could be entitled to parts of your estate, even unintentionally. Without careful planning, your family may be left feeling shocked or betrayed after you're gone. And these unresolved conflicts often last far longer than the relationship itself. Staying single helps avoid many of these landmines. It allows you to maintain clear boundaries between your private life and your family life. It protects your legacy and reduces the emotional friction that often comes with blending families at an older age. You've spent a lifetime building relationships with your children, your grandchildren, your community. Preserving those bonds sometimes means choosing solitude in your personal life, not out of fear, but out of love and foresight. Reason 6. Reduced independence and freedom. There's a kind of freedom that comes with age, a quiet independence that many people don't talk about but deeply cherish. The ability to wake up when you want, to spend a day in silence if you choose, to travel without checking in, to eat cereal for dinner, or rearrange the living room just because, after years of raising children, working full-time, caring for others. This freedom isn't just nice, it's sacred. But bringing a partner into your life, especially later on, often changes that. It introduces compromise. You consider another person's needs, schedule, preferences, and even with love, even with the best of intentions, that shift can start to feel like a constraint. The spontaneity fades, the flexibility narrows, and the independence you once protected becomes something you miss. Walter, 74, had just retired when he began dating again. His dream was to travel, long train rides through the countryside, weeks spent visiting old friends in distant towns. But his partner didn't share that dream. She liked routines, preferred staying home, disliked flying. Within a few months, Walter found himself shrinking his plans, skipping trips, and feeling frustrated. I wasn't mad at her. He said, I was mad at myself for giving up parts of who I was becoming. That's the quiet danger. Not control, not conflict, but compromise that slowly chips away at the joy of living life on your terms. At 65, 70, 80, you've earned the right to prioritize your time, your space, and your direction. And sometimes, the only way to protect that freedom is to walk the path alone. Choosing to remain single doesn't mean living in isolation. It means designing a life that reflects your values, your pace, your passions. You can still love deeply, connect meaningfully, and nurture relationships with friends, with family, with yourself, but your time becomes your own again. And for many, that's the truest form of peace. Write a number 6 in the comments to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you never miss a video. Your support means the world to us and helps us keep bringing you valuable and inspiring content. Reason 7. Pressure to settle for the wrong reasons. Perhaps the most common, yet most quietly painful reason some seniors enter into new relationships is this: fear, fear of loneliness, fear of judgment, fear that time is running out, that if they don't say yes now, they may never have another chance. Society tells us that being partnered is the goal, that being alone, especially as we age, is a failure. So we settle, we lower our standards. We tell ourselves maybe this is as good as it gets. And in doing so, we end up in relationships that are lukewarm, uncomfortable, or even harmful. Barbara, 69, met a man through a senior dating site. He was polite, punctual, and seemed eager for commitment, but deep down, Barbara knew she didn't feel a strong connection. He didn't make her laugh. He didn't really understand her. But she said yes anyway because all her friends were partnered and she didn't want to be the last one alone at the dinner table. 6 months later, she felt more lonely in the relationship than she had ever felt outside of it. This is the trap. Settling out of fear rather than choosing from strength. When you let fear drive your decisions, you end up shrinking instead of expanding. You build a life around someone else's comfort instead of your own truth. And that kind of relationship, no matter how quiet or well-intentioned, eats away at the joy of your later years. But here's the truth most people don't say out loud. Being single after 65 can be one of the most empowering decisions you ever make. It allows you to focus on self-discovery, on passion projects, on healing. It gives you the space to grow in ways that relationships sometimes make difficult. And most importantly, it teaches you that peace is not something someone gives you. It's something you create for yourself. If a new relationship comes along and adds to your life without taking from it, wonderful. But if it doesn't, you have every right to say no. Not because you're bitter, but because you're finally learning what truly matters. Conclusion. There's a quiet power in solitude, not the kind that isolates, but the kind that frees. As we age, we begin to see things more clearly. We understand that time is finite, energy is precious, and the quality of our days depends less on how full our calendars are and more on how full our hearts feel when we're alone. Staying single after 65 isn't a tragedy. It's not a last resort. It's not an admission of failure. For many, it's the beginning of a new chapter, one filled with intention, calm, and self-respect. It means waking up without tension, moving through your day without compromise, and falling asleep knowing your peace is protected. We've talked about 7 reasons today: the emotional toll of conflict, the messiness of finances, the loss of routine, the caregiving burden, the tension with family, the quiet loss of freedom, and the pressure to settle. Each one is real. Each one deserves consideration. And if even one of them spoke to you, you're not alone. You're not broken if you choose solitude. You're wise. You're strong. You're choosing clarity over chaos, peace over performance, and that decision deserves to be honored. So take a deep breath tonight. Ask yourself not what others expect, but what your soul truly needs. And if the answer is stillness, simplicity, and sovereignty, embrace it fully. If this video resonated with you, please like and subscribe. Your support helps us reach more seniors who need to hear this message. Share your thoughts in the comments below. And remember, you are never alone in your journey toward peace and authentic living. In our next video, we'll explore the 6 types of loneliness seniors experience and why one of them might actually be a gift. Until then, may your space be quiet, your heart be full, and your peace remain untouched by pressure,